y'all. Good morning. I'm just killing time. I'm waiting to get into a meeting. And so I just wanted to talk about the rest of our series on wisdom. I just wanted to talk about the issues with having a lot of wisdom. The first part, I'm going to talk about the sin that comes with people that have a lot of wisdom. And then the second part, we'll talk about the, I would say, the disadvantages of having wisdom. So today I was learning about King Solomon ever since I started this wisdom series, and Ecclesiastes 12:13. Ecclesiastes is actually my favorite book, actually, in the Bible. And because I love wisdom, I've been studying about wisdom for a long time. And when I read that, I saw that King Solomon says, let us hear the whole conclusion of the matter. He said, fear God and obey his commandments, because this is the whole duty of man. Now, this man was the wisest man ever. He asked for God for wisdom, and God gave him wisdom. But what happened? This man, after he has received all this wisdom, all this money, all this wealth, what did he do? He ended up marrying 700 wives and how many concubines, and living in a lifestyle that is contrary to God's ordinance and God's will. And that is something that affects us, especially those who think they are wise. God uses the foolish things to confound the wise. He uses the weak things to confound the strong. I'll find the scripture for that, and I'll put it in the description. God uses the lowly things just to confound the strong or the proud, because God hates pride. And that is the biggest issue with people who think they are wise, who think they have had all this knowledge, they've studied all this education, or they've done all these things, or they know all these things. That could be like the biggest thing that affects people who are wise. We get full of pride, and God does not play. When it comes to pride, he says he will humble you. When it comes to pride, he says pride goes before destruction. When it comes to pride, he says no one will boast before. I think that was in the scripture that I would put up, which was talking about God using the foolish things to confound the wise. I was coming downtown, because that's where my meeting is at, and I saw a cafe. It's like a coffee place, and it's called Foolish Things. And I remember I had my best friend's mom back in Africa. She had a cafe thing like that she called Fine Things. So when I saw Foolish Things, I just remembered her cafe, Fine Things. And the scripture just came into me that God uses the foolish things to confound the wise. So be careful for you who think you know it all, and you who think everything, you are wise in your own ways, because God can use foolish things to put you to shame, essentially. And pride is not just about you thinking that you are more, but it's also an idol. It makes you think you are better than God, or you are bigger than God, especially people who call themselves God. You are not God. Okay, those people who think they are God because they are a genius at what they do. We have people who are geniuses at music, or geniuses on art, or whatever you have become. You've become the GOAT, the GOAT's greatest of all time. That does not make you better than God, and we should still be humble, because that is one of the key things that affects a wise man. Remember the whole conclusion of the matter. Fear God. From the wisest man that ever lived, he said, fear God and obey his commandments, because that is the whole duty of man. Love you all. I gotta go. Take care. Bye.